So hey everyone, so we're back with another Prism Caribbean video, and today we will be going over just some rules of indices or laws of indices, as some may put it. Right. So the laws that must be learned in the math syllabus, it really isn't that much per se to learn. So the laws of indices that must be learned are quite simple. Let's say, for instance, we have a to the x times a to the y. Because we have the same bases, of course, the a, we simply add the powers, right? Now, with regards to a to the power of x over a to the power of y, again, since we have the same bases, we subtract the powers, x minus y. If we have a power to a power, we simply multiply the powers. And just some general notes, anything to the power of 0 is 1, and anything to the power of a negative power, of course, can be written as a fraction, right? Like that. And just a simple rule, I'm not 100% sure this needs to be learned, but it's still important nevertheless. A to the power of a fraction will be basically the denominator out, and a to the power of the numerator, right? And that's as simple as it gets. So that's as straightforward, right? That is straightforward right there. So now, before I move on to, okay, so now I guess I can move on to the inequalities, right? So you'll realize that inequalities is quite similar to the topic done in our previous video, but I still thought, it will be quite important to still show it. But there's one rule we have to know with inequalities, is that the sign changes when a negative is introduced into the equation, right? And of course, this only deals with only multiplication and division, right? So again, this follows the same procedure, except a symbol, which is the inequality symbol or sign, is used, right? So for instance, if we have something like x plus 3 more than or equal to 7, right? Again, we just work out what we do. It's just we have a sign in place. The sign is, of course, more than or equal to, right? So we have 7 minus 3. And then we have x is more than or equal to 4. Same thing again. Minus 2x plus, sorry, let me use a plus this time. And let me switch up the signs a little bit. So let's say we have 2x minus 5 is more than or equal to 15, right? We have 2x, of course, carrying the negative 5 over, or transposing it will give us 15 plus 5, which is 20. And then we have, well, now we divide both sides by 2, and we will have x is more than or equal to 10. But let's jump into something a little bit harder. Of course, remember the rule. The sign changes when a negative is introduced into the equation, and it only applies to multiplication and division. But let's see exactly what is meant by this rule, right? Let's say we have minus 2x plus 11 is more than or equal to 23, right? Of course, we know minus 2x will be more than or equal to 23 minus 11. When we carry these signs across, and we have 23 minus 11 right, which will be 12. And because we have a negative here, and we're dealing with multiplication in this case, right, it will be 2x minus 2x, right? Okay, let me just write on this better. It will in this case be, right, it will be minus x is more than or equal to 12 divided by 2, right, which will be in this case 6. And because we have to remove the negative sign here, we have to, in this case, switch the inequality sign to be the opposite of what it was. It was before more than or equal to, but now we make it less than or equal to, because that's the rule. So now it will be x is less than or equal to minus 6. And let's look at this again with a harder example. Of course, at this point, it is quite easy to get astray or to be led astray if you don't understand what you're doing. So I advise you at this point, if you don't know or you got a little lost, just rewind the video and play it over. And if you have any questions, of course, leave it in the comment section. I will get back to you at my soonest time. So let's say now we have something a little bit harder. Minus 34 minus 2/5. Of course, I forgot the x is more than 7 over 2. Of course, by basic math rules, we carry the minus 2 over 5 across. It will be 7 over 2 plus 2 over 5. So let me just add that there. Which will give us 39 over 10. Right? And we of course know we have x minus x in this case because we want to do the sign changing last. So we're going to divide both sides by 34, right? So, okay, let me just fix that over. Right. So we have minus 34x divided by 34 and 39 over 10 divided by 34, right? So in this case, we will have minus x is more than or equal to 39 over 340. And of course, we still haven't finished. Because we are dealing with a negative here, and when we transpose that negative, it will obviously, we will be dealing with a division, right? Of course, we will have to switch the sign. So it will be x is less than negative 39 over 340. And that's it. So again, the key rules, transposition is quite necessary in this case. I ran through this in a previous video, so make sure and take a look at that if you can't remember. And of course, back to the rule, which I will show you all now back again. The rule is the sign changes when a negative is introduced into the equation. And of course, this only applies to multiplication and division problems, right? And of course, again, as I always mention, practice makes perfect, and with only practice, we can only get better at what we do, especially with math. And once again, I am your tutor, Jordan Jaffa, and this has been a wonderful session once again with Algebra, and I do look forward to seeing you in the next video to come. Take care.